After almost 40 years of trial and tragedy, Mars is officially classified as an oxygen sustaining environment. A memorial to those who passed in the Great Mars Tragedy of 25 is unveiled after the official declaration, with Senator Stephen Nguyen as the keynote speaker. This is a transcript of his speech. My brother Sean loved to build. When we were kids, I was the one who played sports and ran for student congress. He was always tinkering with things. It wasn't weird in our house to suddenly come home to the distro box assembled and then disassembled and then arranged on the living room floor. Or Sean crawling around the ventilation shafts because he heard a clicking. There was one time I could never prove it, but I think he got to the dog. He was 10, mind you, 10 years old and already that gifted. Maybe gifted is the wrong word, because it wasn't just his talent, it was his curiosity and the absolute joy he got from breaking something apart and seeing how all the pieces mattered. As the years went by, we drifted apart. He was just my weird, nerdy little brother who kept talking and taking apart many things, telling me all about the stuff he found. We went to school on opposite sides of the world. He studied engineering and physics, a surprise to no one who knew him, and I did my thing. As adults, we would check in from time to time, but I wouldn't say we were particularly close, more like acquaintances than brothers. We were just so different. I liked the Phoenix Five. He thought they were derivative. I thought the new citizenship program was an important way to reward the people who actively want to build a stronger nation. He thought it was elitist. And so it went. Many years ago, when I won my first district seat, Sean showed up to the victory party. I think an aide must have invited him. To be honest, it never occurred to me to even try to reach out to him. Someone on my staff said they saw him in the corner, obviously uncomfortable around the crowd. He didn't even come talk to me, just wrote a note and asked someone to give it to me. Here is what that note said. Hey, Stephen, you look like you had a lot of people to talk to, so I didn't want to interrupt. But I just wanted to say, you're awesome, man. I know we bicker and fight, but it gives me hope that someone who just really believes in their convictions is going into government. It's really exciting, and I'm so happy for you. Just remember, no matter what ugliness surrounds you, to be brave, be yourself, and you'll be fine. That's all he wrote. My brother Sean. Sean the Destroyer. Sean the Rebuilder. Sean was one of the many lost in the tragedy of 2125. Since then, I've never been able to hear one of his aggravating rants on politics, or one of his ridiculously dull ramblings about alloys and stress points. It is a solace that the project that claimed my brother's life was now, fortunately, completed. This monument that we're dedicating is a small consolation compared to the loss of these people. Hopefully, we'll at least keep their names alive for the rest of humanity to see forever. You know what? Forgive my bluntness, but screw that. I don't want people to look at this memorial and be quiet and introspective. I want the names chiseled into the rock to spark a fire in them. A fire to challenge themselves, to challenge humanity. I want the names on this rock to be a battle cry for all of us to excel, to burst out into the universe and find our destiny. So in the words of my stupid little brother, be brave, everyone. Be yourself, and we'll all be fine. That was 2157 Blue Skies on Mars. As you noted in the StarCitizen universe, there is a terraforming that occurred on Mars, and there was mistakes along the way. And as you can hear here, this is a 40-year anniversary of the 2125 tragedy that was attempting to make the blue skies on Mars a possibility. Terraforming in Star Citizen is a major, major undertaking. Silas Kroner of Consolidated Outland pointed out when the Pioneer came out, well, concepted launched for Mars sake, but just stay in RP when the Pioneer came out. The terraforming is still a monumental task even in today's world. However, building and developing the resources on a planet through outposts and other smaller endeavors are possible. And not only possible, they're becoming more and more useful and efficient by the day, to a scale that even small organizations in the verse can build out these outposts. And back to player talk, soon we will be able to start seeing NPC player outposts that are truly developing in a different manner, and then eventually player outposts that will be created that you will be able to put land claim beacons down with the geotag system, have UEE recognize them and build your own systems, or build those outposts without UEE protection at your own risk. So, with back to the lore again, drifting kind of 1 foot in lore, 1 foot in addendums, just so people don't have 50 angry messages underneath about how, no, the Pioneer's not out yet, stop rubbing and win. As a Pioneer owner myself, I feel your pain. I can't wait to see that beautiful 3D printer roll off the assembly line and into my hangar and really get to put some work into it. However, for now, we can look at these kind of stories that really show the amount of work that goes into creating a new world. You know, building outposts is the first step in a many. In the Star Citizen world, Mars itself in the Sol system, our home system, if you will, is developed to literally have a breathable atmosphere. But many, many strides along the way resulted in tragedy and blood, sweat, and tears to get that to happen. So Mars kind of developed from this little outpost that could and scaled up and up and up and up and up until finally they nailed down the ability to terraform. Terraforming is basically the last step in of many, many steps that need to happen for our system to truly have a habitable planet. And that makes a critical difference. If we look at a system like Pyro, right next door to Stanton, that we're soon going to have, Stanton does not have these issues. You have maybe some severe weather, and you have to contend with severe cold or storms and such. But you can still breathe on the planets. That is not the case in Pyro. Pyro is a desolate wasteland, and for the most part, there's no breathability at all. It's extremely dangerous weather. There's solar flares that can irradiate your skin if you're not wearing the correct gear, and if you don't take cover when the warnings happen. It's going to be a rough place, but this can be very lucrative for those who take the risk and attempt to go into it. We had large companies that ran in there and set up large scale strip mining and cave mining operations, like for example on Pyro 2. I did some lore post about that. I'll put them in the cards at the end if this video works out. Testing a new audio hookup. But the long story made short, the concept of terraforming also means that the system has to be consistently safe. And what I mean by that is lawful, large-scale operations are worth investing in, and you can't have a dying star like in Pyro that's constantly trying to kill everybody. So those are kind of like your check boxes. So by Mars being terraformed, it's a clear sign that the Sol system star itself, Sol, is in good condition, and it is not, at least as of 2125, many years back, to be fair, but it was considered a safe system, where the Vandal would not be invading anytime soon. Once again, things have changed, but at the time, it was a safe system that was lawful, that was lucrative to develop. And those are kind of the traits to look for when you hear about a system being system's main planetary landing location having terraforming support. That's a sign that there's a large organization or the UAE itself that sees the value in such an endeavor because it's extremely costly. Another time, I'm going to talk about the failed project of creating an artificial planet and go into how terraforming can kind of go wrong. But this little story here that was originally Blue Skies on Mars, a com link from 2015 2012, I think is a fun one to kind of dig deep. It's kind of a deep cut and talk about the adventures of early terraforming. And I thought it was a very touching story. I thought the senator, who's long gone, obviously, but Senator Stephen Nogoin, um, had a wonderful story about his brother Sean. And I thought how he brought it out and had so much emotion uh, really leapt off the page at me. And I hope to see more of this from the lore coming back. As we've seen a resurgence in lore posts in the past few months. It's very exciting times. Anyway, also I'm gonna do more IE content. I've been very busy with RL at the moment, and it's not me trying to sound like I'm important. It's literally just a lot of neat stuff I must do. I would love to kick back and have a good time. I've been on the show floor I think once on the live server, and that's got to change. So hopefully right after I'm done this video, I'll be hopping in and checking out. I believe it's Anvil Day today, so it should be quite fun. If I run into any of you, looking forward to that. I'll have my Nerf gun ready to go. And if I don't, I wish you a wonderful IAE and hope to talk to you soon. Take care.